knitter friends. I'm Melissa and this is my knitting room in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am Stitches Be Slippin on Instagram and this is the Stitches Be Slippin podcast. I am on a bit of a time constraint here. I don't know if I said that before. I've started this about 15 times already. My kids are on summer holidays, so they're always here. And I've had no chance since we got home from the cabin to do this. So my husband has taken them away. They've gone for ice cream and they're going to his office, which is has a pretty sweet video game setup, so they can play video games and he can work and everyone is happy. So I'm hoping I can get this done. I've done this so many times I can't remember what I tried to say. So yeah, strap in. It's been a while. It's been about 3 weeks. I've been doing a lot of knitting because we were on holidays. So I have a lot to show you. We went out to our cabin for a little less than 2 weeks. We have a cabin out on Vancouver Island. Well, it's in the Gulf Islands, just off of Vancouver Island, close to Victoria. And so we went out there for a while. We drove out, which is a long drive, but fortunately, well, not fortunately, my best friend who used to live in Calgary moved to Kelowna, which is about halfway between here and where we were going. Unfortunately for me, she moved, but fortunately for me, I get to visit with her when we stay there halfway through when we drive out to the island in the summer. So we went and stayed with her for a few nights, and her son, Alex, is my YouTube producer. And so I got to have a meeting with my producer and he said, I'm doing well. He likes the intro and outro, so hopefully this new whole intro setup has impressed. Yeah, other than that, he said no notes. He said I'm doing great. And yeah, we were in Kelowna, that's where they are, and there's a really nice yarn store there called The Art of Yarn, but I wasn't able to get there while we were there because it was the long weekend and it was closed while I was there. So, but we were busy. The boys, my two boys and Alex got to, well, and my husband and my friend's husband, we went to the lake. There's a big, beautiful lake there, and they went out on the Whibbit, which is, it's called, the company I think that runs it is called the Whibbit, and I think they have it all over the place, but it's just a huge inflatable obstacle course, and of course it's like plastic, and so it's slippery and you run around and you fall and you slip, and it is hilarious to watch from the beach. I'm gonna be honest, hilarious. My husband took 2 steps on it and boom. I was a little worried that he was hurt, but he was okay, so it was funny after. Well, it was funny at the time too, but then yeah, it's still funny. Anyway, I got some pictures and videos, but I don't think I don't know. I'll put something up here if you can't see anybody's faces or whatever. I don't like putting my kids' faces on the internet. Anyway, yeah, so they had a great time there. They were exhausted afterwards because they're running around and they're falling in the water, and then they have to pull themselves up out of the water, and they were jumping off of things, and my husband was launching them. There was like, it looked like a big pillow, and they would sit on the end, and then my husband would jump on it and they would launch into the lake. Hilarious, so fun. I'll see if maybe I can put the video there because you can't really see their faces or anything, but it's so funny. Anyway, they had a great time. And then the cabin was awesome. We had really nice weather. It was, I've lost it. It's about a 12-ish hour drive plus an hour-and-a-half ferry. So we drive to Vancouver and then we get on a ferry that's an hour-and-a-half that goes across to Victoria. And then we're very close when we get to that from ferry terminal in Victoria to our island. And our island, we don't own the island. We have a cabin on the island. It's a very small island. It's only about 3 kilometers in circumference. There's no roads, there's no cars, there's no stores, there's nothing. It's just cabins. So you have to have either a boat or there's a shuttle / water taxi. So we take the shuttle / water taxi because we're only there 4 to 5 weeks out of the year, so we don't need a boat. I mean, my husband thinks we need a boat, but you know how that goes. I did lots of knitting at the cabin. We did some kayaking. I might have a picture or video of us kayaking where you can't see anybody's faces. I did a little bit of paddleboarding and was inspired. Actually, we were on the beach and I was scrolling on my phone. My kids were playing in the water and I came across Nicole from Prof Pearl. She posted a video of herself knitting on her paddleboard and I was instantly inspired. And so I hired a captain, my 8-year-old, to be my captain and paddle me around so I could knit on my paddleboard. And then he took a picture of me, so I'll put that up here of me knitting on my paddleboard. So thank you for the inspiration, Nicole. It was so fun. Everyone was laughing at me for sure for being out there knitting. I got up and I had been knitting on the beach, and then they were like, "You're gonna take that with you?" I'm like, yeah, I am. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so we went into Victoria one day. My husband's aunt and uncle lived in Victoria, so he wanted to go visit them. And I said, is it close to the Beehive, which is an amazing yarn store in Victoria? And he said, no, but I will drop you off there. So that's what we did. We drove into Victoria. He dropped me off at the Beehive, then he went and visited with his aunt and uncle. It was perfect. Sometimes when the whole family is around, you feel a little time constrained in a yarn store, but I had lots of time. By the way, I curled my hair and it's so humid here. We had this massive thunderstorm come through last night. I was in the shower and I could hear the hail hitting the roof. It was crazy. So it's super humid today. So all like the curls, it looked so good and it's all fallen out. Anyway, that tangent. Hi, ADHD, welcome to my brain. What the hell was I talking about? Going to the Beehive. So you will see some acquisitions later because I went to a yarn store, so couldn't leave without buying stuff. So yeah, we spent a couple weeks at the cabin. It was great. And then we came home. We stayed in Kamloops on our way home, which is just another way to come that's halfway. My kids are finally old enough to swim in the pool by themselves. Haha, so I was knitting by the pool. I'll put a picture here. My favorite thing now is putting pictures in. I hope you guys like it because I like it. So I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I think I was knitting this actually by the pool while they were swimming. And yeah, we got a nice room in the hotel so that everyone could have their own bed. There was like a living room with a pull-out couch and then 2 little kind of separate rooms, each with beds. So we're like, someone can sleep on the pull-out couch, someone can sleep in that room, and mom and dad will sleep in this room. So everyone went to bed, and then the little one didn't want to sleep in a room by himself, so he went out and asked his brother if he could sleep with him, and he said sure, and it was very cute. But then there was an open bed, and you know what happens when married couples go and stay in a hotel together and there's an open bed? They don't sleep in the same bed. That's what happened. Dave was like, I'm just gonna go see if it's a little quieter in that other room, because our hotel was right on the Trans-Canada Highway, so it was very noisy. And luckily it was a little quieter in that room, and so we both got a better night's sleep than we would have. And that was a win. Also a win. Yeah. There's no funny business when you're married and you're staying in a hotel with your 2 kids. Nothing. No, it's not happening. I used to know this woman that I think she was in our book club for a while. Anyway, it was a long time ago, and I don't know how the subject came up about staying in hotels and staying in a hotel with your kids. And she was like, oh yeah, we just hit the floor if like we're staying in the hotel. I was like, that would never cross my mind. Nope, hard pass. Hit the floor? No, not even when I was 20. Sorry, Mom. My mom watches this. Sorry, you just anyway, so that was good. I need to start planning projects, some knitting projects for our next trip back to the cabin. We are here for about 2 weeks-ish, and then we're going back to the cabin for 2 more weeks. This time will be, I mean, the last time was really fun for the kids. They were playing, and there's some neighbor kids that they were playing with, and it was good. But this next time, our whole fam, like my husband's whole side of the family will be there. So his brother and wife and their kids, and his sister and husband and their kid. And so they like get all this amazing cousin family time. They're all really close in age. So we call them the Goonies. They just run around. They're the Goonies. And then when it's time to come in, we go, hey, you guys. It's amazing. So they're excited about that. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have lots of knitting time because everyone's just going to go away. That's my favorite. I do love my kids. I do love my kids and my family, my husband. I know it sounds like I don't sometimes, but I do. I just really like knitting and when people leave me alone because I'm an introvert. Yes. What else? So yeah, I need to plan some more projects because I took what I thought was kind of a ridiculous amount of projects with me because I had 12 hours drive there, 12 hours drive home, plus the amount of time that we were there. But I got done almost everything, very close to everything. So now I have to, it's a tough life. I have to plan more knitting projects to knit while I go on holidays at my cabin. I know, privilege, I hear it, I get it. What else? Oh yeah, when we go to the cabin next time, we will be there for my birthday. I've never spent my birthday at the cabin before. My birthday is on August 10th, and we usually go there for the week before the August long weekend and the weekend after. But this year, the August long weekend is landing later than usual, so we're gonna be there for my birthday. So next time you see me, next podcast, I'm gonna be 45. It's just a number. I actually really like turning 44 because 44 was Obama, and Obama was the greatest of all time. So I was like, 44 is gonna be the greatest year of all time. And it was pretty good. Started a podcast, people liked it, so good stuff. It's also going to be our wedding anniversary soon, later in August. It's our 12th anniversary of getting married. We got married in our backyard. It was a surprise wedding. Brilliant. If anyone out there is getting married or your kids are getting married or anything like that, and you don't want to deal with all the shit that comes with dealing with like planning a wedding and everyone having opinions and everyone like, well, you have to invite this person and you have to do this and you have to whatever. Have a surprise wedding. You still get your wedding. You get it the way you want. We invited everyone over for an engagement party, and then we sprung a wedding on them. It was great. Like, I don't care if you're wearing shorts at my wedding. The only person whose apparel I care about at my wedding is me, my wedding dress, and my husband in his suit. That's all I care about. I don't care if what you're wearing or whatever. Bring your kids, bring beer, bring whatever. So it was great. Like, everyone was very surprised. A few key people were in on it to help us execute the plan. But it was wonderful. It was really great. It was people tell me a lot that it was the funnest wedding that they've been to because it was unexpected and it was such a surprise and everyone was like, whoa, this is so fun. Let's have a great time. Anyway, I'm really pumping my own tires on this whole surprise wedding thing, but it was really fun. I'll maybe try and put a picture up here of when we got married. We got married on our deck, and we have like a pie-shaped lot. So our front yard is pretty small, but in the back it's huge. So we had like 75 people, I think. It was awesome. Yeah, so also very hard to ever sell this house and move anywhere because we got married in our backyard. And both of our kids, they weren't born in the house. Well, the plan was for them to be born in the house, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Yeah, both of our kids have grown up in this house. So anyway, I'm blah, 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 blah. yeah, so anyway, I was talking about our wedding anniversary is coming up. 12 years ago, we got married. And the 12-year anniversary gift is I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was the traditional gift is silk or linen. And the modern gift is pearls, I think, or it's vice versa. So I said to my husband, call Stash. That's the kind of biggest local yarn store here that carries a variety of brands and bases and things. I said, they'll have a lovely silk linen blend for you. They'll pick it out. They'll send it to you. It'll be great. So, I mean, that one's in the bag. I don't know what the hell I'm going to get him. Anyway, I'm really chatty for being on a time constraint here. Yesterday there was it's Stampede season in Calgary. I don't know we just assume that everyone knows what the Calgary Stampede is. Most people have heard it. It's kind of like an international attraction. But if you haven't heard of it, the Calgary Stampede happens for 10 days every year in the beginning of July. And it's a professional rodeo. It's kind of like the culmination. It's like the finals of all the rodeos leading up to it, besides the NFR, which happens in the US. It's all the professional cowboys want to come here because it's a huge purse. They win like, I don't know, $100,000 or something if they win. And it's like a 10-day competition, but it's more than that. Like the Stampede grounds are huge. There's tons of attractions, there's rides, there's tons of food, there's huge concerts. Like we get all the big names coming in for concerts, and we have like big names playing smaller tents and stuff. There's beer tents, beer gardens like everywhere all over downtown. Calgary is a gong show during Stampede. Gong show. We usually try to leave the town when it's Stampede time. We had to come back for the last few days of Stampede because my husband's company has a Stampede party, so he had to be there for that. But anyway, during Stampede, there's usually always lots of Stampede breakfasts, like tons of them all around the city. And Ancient Arts, who is a local yarn dyer here in Calgary, had a Stampede breakfast and pop-up yarn market yesterday. And I had sort of seen a few advertisements for it and didn't think I was gonna go because I don't think I realized what the plan was there. And I did have my workout planned. I go to it's called Legree. It's Pilates, but a little more intense. It's like anyway, I was on my phone scrolling before I left to go to my workout, and I saw another person post about this Ancient Arts pop-up market, and I looked up the address of where it is because I hadn't been there before, and it was like a 5-minute drive from my workout studio. So I was like, guess I'm going to a yarn market. And I showed up and it was great. They had the parking lot was full of vendors, like different yarn dyers and different kind of makers. There was an embroidery booth, and there was just various different kind of things. And then you could go inside the Ancient Arts shop, and they were giving studio or dye studio tours, and it was good. So you'll see a little bit later some Ancient Arts yarn because I went to a yarn market and had to buy some yarn. Yeah, but the really fun, exciting thing is I wasn't gonna go, and then I went and I got to finally meet Leanne in person for the first time. So I'll put a picture here. Leanne is the Nitty Stew. She's a podcaster who is based in Calgary. She's a flight attendant for WestJet and flies around, and her podcast is great. If you haven't watched it, go watch it because she takes people on tours of all the places that she goes and overnights, and it's really fun. So anyway, I got to meet her in person finally. She, I think, sometimes watches me, but I watch all her episodes, and I had just watched her latest episode the day before, so it was nice to meet her and give her a hug. And yeah, it's nice to meet people in person that you've seen, that you follow, and you see all their pictures and you watch their videos, and then it's fun to meet them in person. So that was nice. If you ever see me in person, please come and say hi to me. Please. Yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to get at there. Some people are like, oh, I would never go up to a podcaster or something and say hi. Dude. It's silly. I love knitting. You love knitting. Let's be best friends, okay? just for the future. Yeah, so last time I talked about I was going to do a giveaway because I made it to 1,000 subscribers. So I got a random number and picked that number comment, and I will put down here the name of the winner. So please contact me. I am talking slowly again so I can leave that name up for a while. If that is you, please contact me, send me an email at this email address that I'm putting up right now, and send me your shipping information, and I will send you these two beautiful skeins of yarn. Again, these are Polka Dot Creek. The base color is Polka Dot Creek in the vintage colorway, and then I speckled the shit out of it with some neon pink to make it a special Stitches Be Slippin' yarn. That has a nice ring to it. No, I'm just kidding. I do not have the drive or creativity or whatever to start my own yarn company. Shelly, don't worry about it. Shelly's my boss. I work at Polka Dot Creek, if I hadn't mentioned that yet. I work there as a yarn dyer, have great amounts of fun. Hi, it's me from the future. I'm in my bedroom because my kids are home and it's much later and I'm editing my video right now. And I forgot to mention when I was talking about my giveaway that I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who posted such amazing, kind comments on my last episode when I asked for people to enter the giveaway to say something, some favorite moment from any episodes or something that they liked about my podcast. And it was so amazing to read all those comments. You guys were so nice, and it made me feel amazing. I highly recommend that you ask people to tell you things that they like about you because it makes you feel really awesome. I posted something just on my Instagram a while ago, just in my stories, saying I recommend you ask people what they think of you and to tell you things that they like about you because it makes you feel amazing. And just like when you make a video and put it on the internet for anyone in the world to see and get such nice, calm, nice, kind feedback. And the most common feedback was people say that they like me because I'm real and that I'm not fake or put on. And that's just such a nice feeling because you like me for who I am. What's that? Oh, there's a Taylor Swift line that's like, my reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. So thank you for liking me for me. I really appreciate all the nice things you guys said. Okay, thanks, bye. So yeah, that was the giveaway winner. What was the last thing I was going to talk about? Oh, thank you for recommending some TV shows last time. I just got Crave, and people recommended a few TV shows. I watched all of Yellow Jackets, kind of on the fence about it. Like, yeah, it was crazy, but I mean, it was kind of, we knew where it was going from the beginning of the first episode. So anyway, I watched all of that. I'll watch more of it if more of it comes out. The one that really stood out for me and like actually touched me very deeply was called Little Bird and it's a Crave original and in partnership with APTN, which is an Indigenous film TV network. And it's the story of a woman who was taken by the government during the 60s scoop in Canada. If you don't know what the 60s scoop is, it is where the Canadian government just went in and took kids out of their homes and like came up with reasons they were being neglected or blah blah blah, like just bullshit, and took them and put them in foster care and adopted them out all over North America, basically. So children were ripped away from their families. They also sent them to residential schools. That wasn't really touched on in this episode, but a lot of Indigenous children were sent to residential schools, which is basically just, they were trying to pound out the Indigenous out of them and turn them into, I don't know, just, anyway. This show was amazing. If you're in Canada, it should be mandatory watching. Mandatory viewing, it should absolutely be. it touched me so deeply emotionally because my cousin is Métis, and she was adopted by my aunt and uncle when she was 5, and this would have been the very late 70s, early 80s. So they call it the 60s scoop, but it was like 60s, 70s, 80s. The last residential school wasn't closed until the late 90s. I know I'm going off on a massive tangent, but this does have a personal aspect to it. My cousin, who was adopted, we were always told the story that she was adopted out of, that she was taken from her family, was that she was like, that one of her parents had thrown her down the stairs and broken her arm, and I think when she was at the hospital for treatment for her breaking her arm, they took her away from her family. She did go back and find her family after she was grown up and moved out of the house, and discovered she had siblings that were never taken away from the family. And we never ever questioned the logic behind her being taken out of the family, just because that's just what we were told. And in this TV series called Little Bird, the woman is taken away, her and her 2 siblings are taken out of the house because the cops roll up to the house and decide that they're being neglected and take them out and foster them out and adopt them out. And her parents were always under the impression that she was being neglected and that they were saving her and giving her a better life, and her family loved her and wanted her, and were devastated when their children were ripped out of, like, it was devastating. It was incredibly heartbreaking to watch. But it also, oh, now I'm getting emotional. Give me a sec. Okay, hopefully I can keep it together. It really made me wonder and question for the first time ever if she had actually been hurt by her parents, or if she had just been playing and broke her arm and they took her to the hospital to get treatment and they took her away. You know, like, it had never ever occurred to me or anyone in her family that what we had been told was anything but the truth. So anyway, I will stop because this is already way too long. Please go watch it if you have access to it. I don't know if it's on any streaming services in the US, but please try and watch it. It's very well done. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast, and I'm going to talk about knitting now. What I'm wearing here is one of my FOs, and I'm going to flip to my notes about things and try to stop crying on the internet. Okay, I'm sure you recognize this is the Outline Tank by Jessie Martinson, Jessie Made, Jessie. So this is it. This is my second attempt at the Outline Tank. This one turned out much better than the first. It's still a bit bigger than I wanted it to be, but again, didn't gauge swatch, and my gauge was a bit bigger than it calls for in the pattern, but I'm okay, I'm comfortable in it. My first one that I made, I brought here it is. This is the first one that I made. And I followed the pattern, like I didn't make any modifications, and the V is really deep and I can't wear it without anything, and the down here is really deep, so I can't wear a bra under it, and like it's really the yarn is really pretty. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the yarn is. My husband gave me this yarn in my stocking for Christmas one year, actually. But yeah, it was it looks nice, but I can't wear it because it's too big. So this was my second try. This yarn I used is Polka Dot Creek, fingering weight in the carnation colorway. This is actually double dyed carnation, so it's extra bright. And I used this in a previous project, a love note that I made, and I actually dyed it myself. This is how much yarn I had left. It's about 7 grams out of 100 gram skein. I made the second size, I think, yeah. I made the second size, and it's bigger than, my gauge was bigger, so I don't know if that means anything, but I had about 7 grams left. The modification that I made, I did everything up to here, and then I did the cups basically like you go up to here and then you make this cup and you make this cup and then you make the one on the back and the one on the back and then you attach them. So on these ones, I knew that I didn't want the straps long and I wanted the straps wider so that I could wear a bra underneath it. And so when you're doing these decreases up here, I made the second size, but I only did the number of decreases called for in the first size. So that meant that the pattern was shorter because I was doing less repeats. And it meant that there's more stitches up here because I haven't decreased all of them. So it left a nice wide strap to wear my bra under, and it's really nice. It's, again, a little bigger, a little more floopy and whatever than I wanted, but I'm happy with it. I can wear it. So that's what we want when we're making ourselves a garment, right? We want to wear it. So that is that outline tank. I think that was all I had to talk about with that one. The next one, oh yeah, are you ready? It's so good. Oh, I haven't cut, I blocked it, but I haven't sewn all my ends in yet. Is this the top? No, it's the bottom. This is the Vellicore. It just looks like a big square, but should I put it on over top of my tee? Yes, I should. Oh yeah, I haven't tried it on since I blocked it. Okay, so this pattern is called Vellicore by Andrea Mowry, who is Drea Knits on Instagram. I will, as always, every episode I put all my show notes down below. Designers, patterns, yarns, makers, anybody that I talk about, yarn stores, etc. So, oh, it's so good. Look at how that is. I love it. Like little stained glass windows almost. It's so cute. I made this entirely to pattern with the exception of up here where, so you start at the bottom, you knit in the round up to the underarms, and then you're just knitting the pattern flat, and like there's no sleeves or anything, it's just all up there, and then you do some ribbing and then you 3 needle bind off here. So I did the 3 needle bind off to where it was recommended, but it was still really wide, so I just did a little bit more, and so now the neckline is kind of where I like it. I might actually tighten it a little bit. Like sometimes if the neckline is too big like this, you can just like with a darning needle just kind of tighten it up with some yarn. Anyway, the yarn I used, oh dear, did I bring my yarn I used? Oh, it's up there. You got to see my butt again, you little pervs. Here's my yarn. The main color I bought in Montreal at Knit City from Amelia and Philomene, and it is the Josephine base, which is 100% non-superwash merino, and it is the colorway, I think the colorway is called Delicatesse. I don't know if that's, I still don't know how to zoom, but this is the main colorway. It is really nice fingering weight, fairly high twist. It's really nice and soft and squishy. And this, the contrast color, this is how much I have left. I only used, this was just one skein of this. It's called, the dyer is called Megs & Co. The base is BFL sock, so it's 100% superwash BFL, which is blue face luster, which is the type of sheep that the wool comes from. It's a really, really nice base. Like if you're scared of BFL, this feels, it feels very, very, this is a superwash BFL, so I think it's softer than a non-superwash. I highly recommend it. It's a really, really nice yarn to use, and it's like very highly variegated, lots and lots of different colors, and so I think it just created such a cool effect with all the different boxes. They're all different colors. Oh, I loved it. I think I mentioned on my last episode, I really wanted to knit this because I saw a number of them in Montreal. That's why I bought yarn for this in Montreal. It wasn't planned, but then I saw some samples in some booths, and in particular I saw a very lovely knitter named Tara, who is a local knitter, but I met her at Knit City, Montreal. She was wearing something almost identical to this, and I took a picture of it. We made her come, Karen and I made her come over and talk to us about it, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, I need to make one exactly like that. So that's what I did. Yeah, what else was I saying? Yeah, I saw it in Montreal and wanted to make it, and it turned out pretty perfectly. I really, really like it. It's gonna go really nicely. I don't know if you can see. It's not, I think it's supposed to be more cropped, but I'm short and my gauge is probably off, let's be honest. But it's really nice. We can do a nice French tuck. We can wear this over some, I like wearing knitted stuff over like a jumpsuit with like, what's the word? I want to say floppy pants, but like wide leg pants. That's probably more the correct term. Anyway, yeah, Bellicor by Andrea Mowry. Like I was saying before, I was dreading knitting it because it's fingering weight and it's textured, and I thought it was going to take me forever to make because just fingering weight and whatever. But it's a really fun knit. Again, if you don't like purling, maybe not your thing, but I love purling because I knit continental and it's really fun. And it's just a very easy 4-row repeat. You're not counting ever. Well, I mean, no, not really. It's very easy anywhere you are to know where you are in the pattern, to know which row you're on. It's super easy to put down, pick up, know exactly where you were and keep going. I really, really enjoyed. This is probably the project that I've most enjoyed knitting for quite a while. And yeah, and it's super, I just dropped a label on the floor. Super, like the construction is very easy. It's just a square and then you seam it and put some ribbing on it. Like there's no shaping, there's no like knitting sleeves. It's like the perfect garment for me. Yeah. Anyway, my next FOs, plural. I mentioned on my last episode, I think it was the last one, I don't know, when I went to the Creekside Yarn Festival in June. Well, I didn't go to the Creekside Yarn Festival, but I went to the Creekside Yarn Festival because I was working at the shop, but I went to the market beforehand to help set up. And I went over to the Wool Baron's booth, Louise. Louise is the Wool Baron, because I wanted to buy, I'll talk about that later. But then she also had a sale bin full of amazing self-striping bulky yarn. And she had this one color that is self-striping color that is the same color as the colors of my kids' hockey team. My kids' hockey team is the Hawks, and their color scheme is based on the Seattle Seahawks colors. And that's what Louise had based this self-striping colorway on. It was called, the name of it is something Tatupu, who is, I think, used to be a Seahawks player. I don't know. Anyway, it's really nice, and it was bulky, and it was my kids' hockey team colors. And so I was like, well, that's way easier than knitting the fingering weight yarn that my son had picked out before to make him a hockey toque. So now I have that in my stash, but yeah, so I actually, here we go. So there's one, there's two, there's three. I actually made one more of these, but while we were out at the cabin, one of Dave's cousin was there, and it was his birthday, and he had been talking about him and a friend going to a Seahawks game this winter. They live in Vancouver, and Seattle's right under Vancouver, and he's a Seahawks fan. So I had already made an adult size one of these for my husband, so I just gave it to him, and then I made another adult size one for my husband. I was gonna make one for all four of us, but I don't really need one, so my husband coaches both my kids, so this is the adult one. So I just made it, I think I made it like 4 stitches bigger and a couple rows taller. It's bulky weight, so you don't really have to modify too much to make it bigger. And yeah, so the self-striping yarn, she calls it SOB, striping on bulky. So it's a super bulky or whatever weight. And so the way she dyed it is amazing. So the first, you just knit the ribbing until the yarn changes color, and then you just knit in stockinette and it stripes on its own. It's amazing. I know self-striping is self-striping, but when you add an extra stripe on the end there, it's next level. So anyway, I have 3 of those, 1 adult, 2 children's size. And you know, when I went back to her booth at the end of the day, I noticed she had this one self-striping one left that was like, I was like, Louise, why didn't you show this to me before? Like, you know these are my colors. Hello. So I bought this one and made this one for myself. These are like super fast. They take like 2 hours to knit. If you want the recipe, it's like, well, I guess it's a pattern. It's not really a pattern. It's not a published pattern. But when I had been talking to Louise about this yarn when I was buying it, she was like, just cast on this number of stitches on this size of needle, and then when you get here, go to this bigger needle and whatever. And then I was messaging her later, and she just sent me the whole thing. So I'll ask Louise, like if someone wants me to send you the pattern for it, I'll just ask Louise's permission first. And if she's okay with it, then I'll just send it to you. If you message me, I'll let you know. This one was called, I think this one was called Lost in the Dark or something. Because like you're never gonna get lost in the dark if you're wearing that toque. That's for sure. Again, toques, I'm Canadian. And then my last FO is also by the Wool Baron. This was why I went to the Wool Baron's booth in the first place. These are my electric boot socks. I should get my little sock blocker thingy so you can appreciate. Okay. They're a little dirty on the bottom because I was wearing them yesterday. So this is the electric boots colorway by Wool Baron. I don't know if she has them for sale anymore. She did a bunch of pre-sales. This color is Berry Crush by Polka Dot Creek. It's actually sparkle. Ooh, you can see the sparkle. That I had in my stash from a bouquet. And this is also Polka Dot Creek in the color Limeade. So yeah, I cranked this on the sock machine at work. I have a sock machine here too. She's over there. Her name is Blanche. That silver thing in the back, that's Blanche. Yeah, so I just cut in the heels and the toes. I just actually, for the top, I couldn't decide what to do for the cuff. So I just picked up the stitches and then unraveled it back to here and then just knit with that to make the cuff. Because I was having serious indecision about what colors to use. So that colorway was inspired by me. Just throwing that out there. Well, not fully inspired by me, but partially inspired by me by one of my whips, which is a nice little transition, and I will show you my whip that in half partially inspired that colorway. It is almost done, you guys. I was trying so hard to finish it and have it as a finished object for today, but it just didn't happen. It has, this is my half and half wrap. Half and Half Triangles wrap by Pearl Soho is a free pattern. I can show you the magnitude of this bitch because she's large and in charge. Okay. I don't even know if you can see the whole thing. Okay. Ah, isn't she pretty? So Louise had been watching my podcast earlier when I had showed this, and she liked the lighter, more neutral pink with the like pop of the bright. Oh, I thought that was, I had to look out the window. I thought that was my husband coming home. I'm like, no, shit. So I was trying so hard. I only have, how many? I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 short rows to go. And it's, well, I don't think I short rowed the last couple. So like 10-ish short rows to go. I was trying so hard to finish this, but it's almost done. This yarn was a gift from my friend Britt for Christmas. The yarn is Pearl Soho as well. They sell kits on their website, so it is Pearl Soho Linen Quill. And it is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. It is just squishy and glorious, and I didn't know what to think of it at first, but the more that I work with it, the more I absolutely love it, and I will be getting more of it for other projects because I just love it. This color is peony pink, I think. Peony pink. And this color is pink pop. And they're just glorious together. So I don't know if Britt watches this, but Britt, you did an amazing job choosing these colors for me because these are the exact colors I would have chosen for myself. They're amazing. I mentioned Nicole from Prof Pearl before, and I see she has a new podcast episode. I think her and Maddie from We Share Needles podcast are starting their own half and half wraps, and I had kind of zoomed ahead in that episode to try to watch the whole thing before I podcasted this, but I didn't have enough time. But she did mention that Maddie had recommended to Nicole, to do the boring color first, and that is 100% the correct advice to give, because you're excited to start, and you start with like the big long thing, and your rows get shorter and shorter because you go across and you short row and you go across and whatnot. Yeah, do the boring color first, because then when you add on that pop, you're like halfway through and you're like, fuck, this is taking forever. But then you add in that pop, and then you're excited to knit it again, and you're like, every time you're like, oh, this is so good, this is so good, this is so good. Like, this is entirely garter stitch, and I don't love knitting garter stitch, but I absolutely loved making this half and half triangles wrap. So it is absolutely 100% going to be an FO for next time. I won't talk about it for very long next time because I've already talked about it many episodes. But this is how much I have to go. But the row is like 200 stitches long, so it's not a super quick finish, but it is going to be finished. It had been living in a smaller bag before, but she's gotten big, and I've been using this bag. This is by Alyssa, who is a local maker, leather bag maker and leather accessories maker here in Calgary. Her company is called Her Leather Co. I think it's on here. Oh, it's on the tag there. I don't know if you can see that. Her Leather Co. This is such a great bag. It has pockets outside, big pocket on that side. It has pockets on the inside for like needles, or oh, I think there might be a hand in there. I found chocolate on my last episode. Oh, it's a cable needle. I have no idea what that's in there. I'm not cabling on this one. That's from a previous project. It has juicy fruit in it right now. Sorry, that was probably pretty loud. Anyway, this is her larger size, and it is great. I love it. So go check out Alyssa. I have something else to show from her today actually too. That was my half and half wrap. My other whip, you haven't seen before. I was seeing this pop up all over Instagram, and since my granny square cardigan, which we're still not talking about, it's still in timeout thinking about what it did. I saw this top, and it's a crochet top, and I thought that's really cute, and I can do that, and I'm going to follow the pattern and hopefully it will work out. This isn't piecing granny squares together, so it'll hopefully be okay. I've never made a crocheted garment before, so I was excited about it. They're doing a cowl. This is called the Vesuvius. I don't know if it's called the Vesuvius crop. I can't remember. The maker on Instagram is Nomad Stitches, I think. If that's wrong, I'll put it on the screen here. This is the start of it. This is the back. I will put a picture up here of what the finished top looks like. It's really cute. It is a crop that you can like wear over floopy floppy pants, like I said before. I haven't gotten super far on it because I was doing other things. I was finishing this, and then I really wanted to cast on that outline tank. This one. I cast that on. I took it with me to the cabin thinking I was gonna need like a pop of color, and I did, and I cast it on and I finished it on the way home, I think. Anyway, the yarn I'm using for this is also yarn that I got in Montreal. I got this at Espace Tricot, and it is Sweet Georgia, which is a dyer, I believe in Vancouver, or in the Vancouver area. Sweet Georgia, and the base is called Flaxen Silk Fine. It is, oh, it says right on there, 65% silk and 35% linen. So it is very, it's actually got 480 yards for a, oh, it's 115 gram skein, so it's a bit bigger skein, but it's very like soft and drapey. I was going to use this for a cardigan. We saw a sample cardigan made out of this yarn, and then I just was like, I'm not going to make that because it's a fingering weight cardigan, and let's be realistic here. And I thought this is a nice neutral color, and crochet goes faster, although this is, I'm using, oh my god, where's my hook? Did I lose my hook? Oh, no, pencil. Here we go. This is a 3.5 millimeter hook, so it's not like insanely small. It's not like a 2.5 millimeter, but it's small. It's pretty slow going. Every other row is like a single crochet row, so that one goes a little slowly, but I'm excited about that. It's very easy to put down and pick up because it's crochet. You don't have to worry about all your stitches falling off stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's living in this bag that I got in Chicago at Yarnify. It's, I've mentioned it before. This is the label of the maker. It says Stashams Markhams, handmade by Leslie. I haven't been able to find a shop for her, but you can buy them in store at Yarnify for sure. I'm not sure if you can buy them online from Yarnify. You might have to check with them. But I like it because it's got pictures of yarn balls and it says knit together, and yeah, it's all about knitting. So those are all my whips. I don't have very many whips right now. I was actually getting ready for this the other, like writing my notes and stuff, thinking, whoa, I don't have very many whips because I finished this, I cast this on and finished it. I did all of those too because I finished those socks. I've been knitting like a motherfucker. True that. Sorry, what an idiot. I forgot when I was talking about my whips, and then I kept moving on and I forgot about these two whips. This one's actually an FO already, but Jodi from the Grocery Girls contacted me and asked me if I was interested in testing her new hat pattern, and I said, yeah, of course, send me some yarn. So she sent it while I was gone. It was here when I got home, and I've already made one of them, and I'm working on the second one. The pattern is called Pixel Pop Hat, I think. Pixel Pop something. And she sent me patterns or yarn for 2 different samples. So this one is, it's a DK weight. The blue is cobalt. And this variegated one is called Day Drinking. And those are that. The pattern's not out yet. I think the pattern's coming out in August. So I had time to knit these up, send them back to her, and then she can have them when she releases the pattern. So this is the first one. It hasn't been blocked, so it's, but that is that. Isn't that cute? She, like, I was texting her yesterday while I was knitting this, and I said, I don't know how you came up with this stitch pattern, and I'm not going to give it away because it's a paid for pattern, and it's brilliant. Like the way that these are made, it looks complicated, but it is not, and it is really fun to knit. And I'll just leave it at that. So that is the first one. Jodi Brown, I don't know what her name is on Ravelry, but she's Mrs. Brown's Bags, aka, oh, I didn't say that, she's also Frankie Gray Fibers. So this is her yarn, Frankie Gray Fibers. So it's her yarn that she sent me to make samples with her yarn of her pattern. Where's my whip? Here it is. So this is the other one. I'm almost halfway through this one. Well, maybe not. So she sent, the yarns for this one are Viva Magenta and Roller Coaster. So this one is Viva Magenta. It's very hard to accurately capture. It looks red. It's a really like pinky red because it's magenta, obviously. And this is Roller Coaster. It looks like just gray, but there's some like, there's speckles in there. You just can't see them right now. So those are the two colors she sent me for this sample. And I'm working away at it. I should be done today. It actually knits up really fast because it's DK. Got those hanging out. I got yarn everywhere. So this is how that one is coming. So it's, yeah, it's probably about halfway. So those are really fun. So thank you, Jodi, for contacting me and asking me if I wanted to test / make samples. And these are going to be done. This should be done tonight. And then I will send them back to Jodi so she can have them for when she releases the pattern in August. That was in my Fringe Supply Co bag, which you can't buy anymore, sorry. Yeah, and now back to previous me where I keep talking about other things. Okay, bye-bye. So now it's acquisition time. I know I said a while ago that I was trying not to buy more yarn because I bought a lot of yarn in Chicago and a lot of yarn in Montreal, but I am me and I love yarn, and if I am in the vicinity of the possibility of purchasing yarn, I'm gonna fucking buy the yarn, okay? So don't judge me because I am just living my I'm being my authentic, what is it they say? Be your authentic self or whatever. Yeah, so I'm doing that. A few weeks ago, I think it was, Alyssa from Her Leather Co. Posted she had like a little creative burst and had just out of the blue designed herself a crossbody bag, and I instantly wanted one. And she put up a thing in her story saying, should I make more? Would you like one? And I said, yes, please. So this is my crossbody bag from Her Leather Co. It has a pocket on the front and the snap is magnetic. So it is the perfect spot. I put my phone and my lip stuff in there. And then it's got a zipper top. I put my wallet and all my other shit in there. And it's so cute. And like, she was like, what side of the body do you want to wear it on? So she knew what side to put the strap on. And she's like, do you want the adjustable part in the front or in the back? Like, she's so good and she thinks of all the things. And it's so cute. And I love it. So go check out Alyssa. I think she's on holidays right now, but check out her shop. She has beautiful bags, beautiful project bags. She also makes little notion accessory type things that are really cute, all out of leather. She's very creative and talented. And yeah, so I went to, I'm sorry, I'm going so fast. I'm trying to get this done before my kids come home. I went to the Beehive yarn shop. It's called the Beehive Wool Shop, I believe, in Victoria. And they have a lot of different commercial options, and they also have a number of hand-dyed options. Some of the hand-dyed options are stuff that I have access to here, like Leo and Roxy, Stash Carries, and I can't remember what other ones they had but the one that they do carry in store that I haven't seen in Calgary anywhere, but I don't know, I don't go to a lot of yarn stores, so maybe they do have them here, is called Fleece Artist. And sometimes it's called Handmaiden and sometimes it's called Fleece Artist. Like this tag, okay. Anyway, Fleece Artist is an amazing Canadian dyer. I believe they're out on the East Coast, maybe Nova Scotia. I don't know. It's out on the East Coast somewhere, I believe. They make beautiful hand-dyed yarn. They have these skeins of mohair that are to die for. I had one before. I made my lento with it, with the blue, like kind of steely blue. They sell these skeins of mohair that are, what are they? It's like 100 grams or something like that. So it's like this big, juicy, squishy skein of mohair. Because usually mohair skeins are either 25 grams or 50 grams. And this was no, I think it was 150 grams because it was the equivalent of like 3 skeins of mohair. Anyway, they have this wall of those and I just stand there and I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. Anyway, the second I walked in the door, they had a sample at the front. Sample sell, people, because I got completely sucked in. I'll put a picture here of the sample. This is the Two Bridges shawl by Tori Yu, who is Tori Knits NYC, I believe, on Instagram. And they, the Fleece Artist, or Handmaiden Fine Yarn, they did kits for this. And because it is beautiful. So this is, it's all twisted together in one, but this is one skein of a fingering weight single and a skein of mohair in the matching colorway. And it was, this kit was for the sample, that Two Bridges shawl sample, which is, that is what the color is called Rose Gold. It's called the Halo Bundle. I believe that you can only buy these from the Beehive. I think they were especially made for the Beehive. You can't, this is a 50 gram skein of mohair, and I don't think you can get 50 gram skeins of mohair like on their own from them, from this dyer. But anyway, the singles is, let me see, pull these out. Oh, Halifax, Nova Scotia, that's right. The singles is 400 meters, 437 yards. I believe it's, oh yeah, it's 100% superwash merino, but it's a single, so it's not plied, single ply. And then the mohair is called Angel Hair. It's just a regular mohair base, 70% mohair, 30% nylon. Oh, nylon. Oh, I thought it was silk. Anyway, yeah, and that's a 50 gram skein, 437 yards. So that's what I bought it for. But then I was thinking, Nicole from Prof Pearl. I am not sponsored by Nicole from Prof Pearl, but I've been watching a lot of her stuff and like admiring a lot of her stuff lately. And she just designed a beautiful shawl called the Woolgathering shawl. It is not released yet, but I think I am going to use this for that instead because it's gorgeous and it will look absolutely perfect in this stunning set. So that is number one. I bought another kit of the same kit, different color, in this like gorgeous like icy blue. They had a sample of the, crap, what was it called? Chevron Cloud, I think, is a free pattern by Espace Tricot. I'll put a picture here if I can get one off of Ravelry. I can. That was a stupid question. The name of this colorway is called Jacobian or Jacobian, but same thing, a skein of mohair and a skein of fingering single. And I bought that to make that sample, but I think I might do the Two Bridges shawl with this, which is what I meant to do with that one. But luckily I bought 2 kits so I can make both of them. When am I going to make all these things? Who knows? But I have them and I know what I want to make with them. I'm not just like randomly buying yarn because it's pretty. I always try to buy yarn with a plan. And then the last thing I got there, this is also Fleece Artist. Sorry, I just wobbled the thing there. They have these skeins of 100% BFL, Blue Face Luster. It is non-superwash, but look at the size of this skein of yarn. This is fingering weight yarn. This is a 125 gram skein. It has 546 yards in it. Oh God. The color is called Nutmeg. And yeah, it's just, it's a this is the tag. It's just a BFL 28. I don't know what that means, but that's the base. So I bought 2 of those because I remembered that I had bought this at Little Bow Fiber Co, which is, I'm pointing that way because it's that way. It's like, I don't know, 10 blocks that way from my house. And I didn't have a plan of what to put with this, but I think that these will, if I hold those together, they will look really nice for like a sweater or a cardigan or something. So vague plans, but plans. So that is that. And then my last, oh, I'm so hot. I'm wearing 2 wool tops and it's like, it's hot out. Sorry for the crinkling, but I got, when I was on the island and went to Beehive, my husband went to my aunt, or his aunt and uncle's place, and she's a knitter and has been a knitter for years and years and years and years. And she sent him home with a bag of yarn for me, which is so nice. It is, it's special yarn. This stuff is thick, y'all. It is real, it's like rope. But this is the yarn. Okay, I don't know if I can show you this bag. It's pretty offensive, actually, after all the talking I just did about Indigenous. But this is, sorry, on Vancouver Island, there is a lake called Lake Cowichan, and a lot of the, I believe some of the local Indigenous people there are called Cowichan. They call them Cowichan sweaters, and these are the, people called these Cowichan, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but this is like, it's, it says authentic, genuine Cowichan Indian sweater, which obviously we would say Indigenous sweaters, but they sell kits on, there's actually a town called Cowichan too, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, she sent me this yarn because obviously she has made these sweaters before and she put patterns in with it. So these are like the kind of sweaters that you make with this yarn, like big, bulky yarn. There's not a ton of it in there. There's those 2, and then there's some other balls of a couple of other colors. So a dark and a gray. So I can't really make sweaters with them, but one of the patterns is this little toque with a whale on it. So I might try to, depending, I don't know how much yardage, I should be able to get a couple of toques out of these for my boys. So we'll see how that goes. It is like, I don't even know if I have needles big enough for these. But I thought that was really sweet. They all know that I knit like crazy because I'm always knitting when I'm out there. Whenever I see anybody, I'm just always knitting. Oh, and then I went to the pop-up market at Ancient Arts yesterday, and I went into the Ancient Arts shop after I wandered around and looked at all the booths, and I got these 2 skeins of yarn. There's a new pattern coming out from Tif Neil this week. I can't remember what it's called, or if she's said, I don't think she said what the name of the pattern is. I'll put a picture up here. She posted a picture this morning saying the pattern is coming out on Wednesday, so I'm very excited. We had someone come in the shop at Polka Dot Creek a little while ago who was test knitting this, and she showed us a picture, and like, I just have been waiting for this pattern to come out ever since. It's, again, a fingering weight pattern, which is silly, but it's beautiful, and I really want to make it. And I saw these at Ancient Arts, and I thought those are perfect for making that top. I don't know what the yardage is for the top. These are 385 yards each, so it's a fingering on, verging on a sport weight. So I figured I would probably need to make one. The base is called Little Nettle Soft, and it is 68% superwash fine merino and 32% nettle, which is similar, I believe, to linen, but it just feels like superwash merino yarn. It's very soft. It has a tiny bit of a halo. I don't know if you can see that up there. It's really, really nice and squishy, so I thought that would be perfect for that. And I think this will probably be one of those projects that I take with me to the cabin because it's coming out on Wednesday and I'm going to buy it immediately. and that will be a good one to work on, I think. There were two other things I bought at that pop-up market, and then I'm done. There's a knit night group in Calgary called the Calgary Crafters Club. It's fairly new. They've been going for, I don't know, a little while now. And the two ladies that kind of organized that knitting group have started their own stitch marker company, and it is called Blossom Stitch Co. I will put all that information below. And they had their booth at they did their very first booth yesterday at the pop-up market, and I wanted to support them, and so I bought some stitch markers from them. These are just some really my favorite, just little rings, but they're purple and they have cute little colored beads on them, and I loved that. And of course they had, well, not of course, but they had a progressive pride flag, so it includes trans and black and brown and the gay pride rainbow. And so of course I bought that because I loved that, and I got a sticker from them, Blossom Stitch Co., because I like putting knitting stickers on my laptop. This is my laptop. Band guns, not books. That's not knitting related, but it's just common sense. This is a knitting fox. That's the Calgary Crafters Club, actually, the ladies that started that. This one, I love this one. It's a skull with yarn for brains. Yarn brings happiness. This one is Firefly from what's one of the shops I went to in Chicago. This one is Breaking the Bank. That's from Needles at the Ready, Kevin and Ray, who I met in Montreal. And then this one that's just kind of my stance in life: reproductive rights, healthcare for all, gun laws, voting rights, immigration, police reform, LGBTQ plus rights. This is pro-life. Oh yeah, one last thing. I bought, there was a really great embroidery cross stitch type scenario booth. Her name is Embroidery Marketplace, and she has an online store that I think she mostly does online stuff. Mom, if I haven't talked to you yet about this, you need to check this out. I don't know if you probably already know about this because my mom's a big cross stitcher. She's on Instagram. She said she was on Instagram, but I don't see it on here. It's Embroidery Marketplace. Anyway, she had lots of hand-dyed embroidery floss and stuff like that. So when we were at the cabin, there's a little empty space on the wall by my sink. So there's a sink that looks out onto the ocean, and there's a little space of empty wall, and it's like the perfect space to put a small cross stitch or embroidery. So I bought this Aida cloth from her. I think it's a 16 count Aida cloth. And I already took this out of the thing, but this is the color of floss that I got. It's a hand-dyed floss that variegates, so it changes color as you stitch it, which is really cool. And this is the label. I don't really know what the name of that company is, but it says it's hand-dyed in Australia. It's 100% cotton, hand-dyed in Australia. What is the name of the, I'll try, the name is underneath the sticker, so I'll try and find that and put it on here, or put it down below. But my plan here is to I found some free alphabets and just write cabin, sweet cabin in this color, and like with it changing colors, I think it'll look really cute. So that's my plan for that. I'm hoping to do that. It shouldn't take me very long to do that and take it out to the cabin with us when we go back. I am sweating. It is very hot wearing these two, but damn, I look good, right? So cute. I think that was all I have for today. I think probably when I edit this, I should go back to the beginning and say, warning, 30 plus minutes of rambling ahead, and then skip to, and I'll put like what time to skip forward to if you don't want to hear me rambling about my own personal life, and just listen to the knitting portion. I apologize for this being so long, but it's been a while. I had been very busy, and it's probably going to be even longer for the next one because we're home for these 2 weeks, then we're gone for another 2 weeks, so it's probably going to be like a month. Yeah, and I'm going to be a year older, so anyway, I think that's it. I'm just dragging it out. I did it. My kids are not home yet, so now I can hopefully... I forgot some whips. Oh my God, what an idiot. Oh my God. Okay, I'll say goodbye now, and I will stop this, start it again, and insert it back in my whip section. So thanks for watching, bye!